hello everybody. Welcome to another DCKAP eSessions. This is our monthly event series where we feature success stories and partner insights into strategy and growth in e-commerce. My name is Catherine and I work with the marketing team and the partner manager at DCKAP. Today we're going to be featuring some special guests. We're going to have Scotch speaking about their company's journey into B2B. We'll have Digital speaking about 5 marketing channels you need to prioritize, as well as DCKAP's own Sivaranjani speaking about quality assurance and ADA compliance and how that plays into design. And we're very excited by the great tips and insights they'll be sharing here today. Along with Digital, DCKAP is privileged to be a partner with Scotch on their digital journey. And you can also watch more of our eSessions on our DCKAP events page. And also please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're always uploading videos like this to our channel. And of course, we'd like to thank our sponsors, Scotch and Digital in particular, for sponsoring the event with us. And partners like them certainly help make it possible to host these educational sessions each month. And you can find out more about them at scotch.com and .digital.com, as well as us at dckap.com. We'll go ahead and move along now, and we're going to have our next presenter come on board. And that's going to be Sivaranjani Ramamoorthy, the ADA Compliance and Quality Assurance Lead here at DCKAP. Sivaranjani is an ISTQB certified foundation level quality assurance professional with more than 8 years of experience in QA testing. She's the ADA and QA lead at DCKAP. She loves collaborating with teams and optimizing processes, tools, and methodologies. Has experience in implementing accessibility programs to make continuous improvements. And welcome, Sivaranjani, and thank you for joining today to take us through your expertise in QA and ADA compliance. It's all yours, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Catherine. Yeah. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening. So thanks for joining today's session. So myself, Sivaranjani Ramamoorthy. So yeah, I have been with the DCKAP for the past 8 years and been a part of the quality assurance team and leading the QA practices and process for our clients. So in today's session, we are going to have insights about the ADA compliance and its related standards and how DCKAP quality assurance policies, practices, process brought a digital transformation in our client website with respect to compliance along with the quality delivery. So yeah. This is going to be the overview of the topics we are going to discuss today. So I want to start my presentation with this quote. The power of the web is in its universality. Access by everyone regardless of disability is an essential aspect. So this is coined by Tim Berners-Lee, who is the director of W3C, that is World Wide Web, right? So he says, okay, web accessibility is a initiative that has to be integrated with both the design and development team in resolving and bringing up the accessible feature in the website, enabling the disabled users to access your website without any issue. This is the essence behind this quote. Web is open to all. It is not restricted to a group of people. So coming to ADA, so you know Americans with the Disabilities Act. This is the highest civil rights law in US, launched back in 1990s to emphasize and make sure disabled users have equal rights in all places, all public places, transportation, employment, state and local government, and so on. Okay, so because of ADA, we have a dedicated parking lot, wheelchair ramp in buildings, theaters, malls, and even the appropriate service counter height and side rails in restrooms and so on. So many things we got because of the ADA. So when ADA was launched back in 1990s, internet was in budding state. There are no digital stores that time. So you may ask me, well, how or why ADA is related with the digital store, that is online stores, right? So yes, when ADA was introduced, internet was in a blooming stage, right? So that time no online stores exist. So, but there are several titles available in ADA. The Title 3 of ADA states that there should not be any discrimination shown towards the disabled users in public places. So, with respect to Title 3, we can say, okay, online stores are a places of public accommodation where everyone will come to our website and access the features. So if your functionalities and features are not accessible to a disabled user, then that will be a violation of law. It is not only the violation of law, you are losing a potential group of customers. There are around $410 billion spending capability with the disabled user community annually in the US. And also, as per US Labor Department, they are saying this disabled user community is the third biggest market in US. So we have to be ensure we are building our websites with accessible features. So there are some facts to know about the disabled user community in US. Okay, so 61 million people in US live with some form of disability, ranging from minor to major. So this constitutes 26% of the overall US population. This report has been given by the Center for Disease and Control in US, and it says 1 in 4 people have some form of disability. And another fact is by 2030, all baby boomers population will be age 65 or older. So as all you know, baby boomers population are a very healthy generation who born after 1949, between 1949 to 1964, right? So they, because of their aging, they will have some issues in their vision and mobility and hearing power. So in next 10 years, they are going to be the major main consumer base for your website. And another study says that by 2040, you will have 10,000 people aging 65 every day for the next 15 years. See how big the amount of aging population will be in 2040. So accessibility technology has a profounding purpose now, and of course we have to tackle the challenges in reducing the complexity of the issues faced by the aging population in accessing the website. It is a team effort, and it can be implemented stage by stage within your website. So we have discussed about ADA compliance and the disabled user population. So what is web accessibility? The next question comes in mind, how we can implement that. So accessible websites are important and imperative to have. So web accessibility is the inclusive approach, making sure you are building a website that has proper interaction and access over the internet by the end user. Here, the end user is the disabled user who has some different form of disabilities. It might be a physical disability or maybe a situational disability, like for example, a user can go and use the mobile phone in a bright sunlight or access the website using with one hand. And also the socio-economic restrictions like having reduced bandwidth, internet bandwidth and speed. You have to make sure we are designing, developing and launching the website with all accessible features, providing equal access to all users to the information and technology without any problem. So yeah, why does it matter? Web accessibility. So when you have accessible features in your website, it creates trust with the customers. So I will say a small example how you can create a trust with the customer. So with respect to accessibility, the simple thing you can do is providing an accessibility statement in your website. Okay, so how you have built the website with respect to accessible features and what you have done so far, what is in your pipeline, and even you can provide a phone number or even an email ID where the end user, that is a disabled user, can register their issues, questions, compliance, and get it resolved. So, and another fact is that according to a study by Accenture, it says 62% of the customers ready to do the transaction with the merchants only when the merchant is ready to answer or ready to solve the issues. So it's a good strategy to build a public relationship with the end user. So we having an accessible features in the website. And of course, then the second one is the enhanced user experience. It is always usability go hand in hand with accessibility. For example, I would say, okay, it is not only for the disabled users. More, there is a group of people, okay, so they don't want to use mouse, okay, without, they will just take away the mouse and they want to use the website only with the keyboard. So we have to make sure we are building the features that is keyboard compatible. So this will help not only the disabled users, even for the normal users, everyone, right? Yeah. So it all supports your search engine findings. Search engines, Google or any other search engines are all text-based. So if your website has video files or any audio, it is better to have the video file with the closed captions and also the audio file with the transcripts. So if you are providing those information, and Google or any other search engine will take it and index it properly and give the relevant information to the end user, whatever they are searching for. So by doing this, all the stuff, eventually disabled user will benefit from this, and they will pass on the information to the other people in their community or with their colleagues, friends, relatives, and the word of mouth spread like that. And they will say, okay, this brand is doing good for the disabled user community, and they are hearing to the problems and they are resolving it. That's how you can expand your user demography also here. And we are talking about the user demography. I want to show you whom we are going to serve by having an accessible features in our website. So these are the types of people we are going to serve with the accessible features in our website. People with cognitive issues, that are people, cognitive means they have some issues with understanding the content very quickly, or and slow learners, and people with mobility issues, like they have some problem in using their fingers and hands very fast in accessing the website, and vision impairment, colorblind, people will have color blindness. 1 in 7 men all over the world has some form of color blindness. It's a report says that. So people with a different difficulty in hearing, deafness, and hearing impairment. So these are the users we are going to serve along with that accessible features. So next, I want to share with you some good UX practices you can implement in your websites. So alternative text for images. It is always good to have alternative text for images, having a descriptive, clear content about your images in the alt text. It will definitely going to serve the visually blind people who is going to access the website with the help of the screen readers. So it is always good practice to include the alternative text for images, links, and it's also a good practice to include your SEO keywords inside the descriptive content, but don't stuff too much of your keywords inside that. There is a limit to use that. So be cautious when you are using that alternative text for images. And where if you are doing providing an alternative text for images, it will supports the blind users to have the same user experience like everyone else. So next thing is the insufficient contrast. Okay, it is a pressing issue, right? So when designing the contrast between the foreground and the background colors, it is always good to have a dark foreground along with a light background. So for example, I would say when you are selecting a blue color as your schema, right? So you should avoid selecting the color palette with the same hue and saturation like this, whatever I have shown here. That is, can you read me? Because even with a person with a normal vision and a dimmer light is not able to read the text properly. So always pay attention to this contrast between the foreground and the background colors. And it's also not a good practice to embed the text inside the banners or images, because it's not a good practice, UX practice, while implementing the accessibility in your website. So next thing is the keyboard navigation. So these are some of the keyboard navigation tips you can follow while implementing accessibility in your websites. Tab key. Some people will use only tab and enter key to navigate throughout the website because of the mobility issues. And we have to make sure whenever they are using the keyboard, we have to provide the proper keyboard focus so that they will aware so where they are right now. So, and of course, implement skip links. People with mobility issues, they often find very difficult to navigate throughout the website to reach their endpoint, right? So if they want to go to the main content or the banner section or search, it depends on your business. So you can provide the skip links like skip to main content or skip to search or skip to footers. Yeah, it's all depends on the business. So whatever you want, you can give the skip links. So don't neglect to these practices in UX. So it is always good to have this practice in place. Never say click here. So in your link, okay. So as a person with cognitive issues, they will completely unaware. So after clicking this click here link, where they will get redirected. So what they will see. So always try to provide a descriptive content inside the link itself. So how I have given here. So go to this page to know more about the author. So if the link has the text like this, the end user will understand, okay, so after clicking this link, and I will be redirected to this page. And even it supports the screen reader users too. There is people who are blind. So after clicking this, they will be redirected to this page and able to see the content. So this is a good practice to be in place. Okay, so next is the focus on the inclusive design approach. Inclusive design approach is a design, creating a design so based on the identity, cultural, diverse culture, and also people with different perspectives. Designers and have to think like disabled users, and they have to keep in mind, okay, so how disabled users will come to the website and access these features. They have to think like the disabled users and design the patterns. So we have talked about the web accessibility and good practices in UX. Do you have any benchmarks for implementing this? Yes, we do have. So we have WCAG 2.1 guidelines in place, that is Web Content Accessibility Guidelines. This is given by W3C. For being an ADA compliant website and to have accessible features in the website, we have to follow these guidelines. We have 3 levels of compliance in WCAG. It is level A, level AA, and level AAA. So level A is a must-have. So it's a basic compliance standards we have to implement in our website, and AA is a decide to have, that is we should implement that. And AAA is good to have. If you're going towards AAA, that's a highest level of compliance level, but you have to be compensate with your brand guidelines. But it's a mandatory to have a level A and level AA in your website. So why your e-commerce platform should care about accessibility? So we have some reports over here. Okay, so according to the Nucleus report, it says there is a $6.9 billion lost to the accessible competitors every year because we are not being an ADA compliant or accessible feature website. So out of 3 transactions, 2 transactions are abandoned because the end user are not able to fully complete the transaction. They have issues in fully accessing the checkout process, and 70% sites are inaccessible. That is 8 out of 10 new sites have critical blocking issues with respect to accessibility. That is, even the search is not accessible to the end user for the disabled users. On average, one service call per week with respect to the accessibility issues. And I would say fewer than one website is having a proper form to submit the ADA issues or accessibility issues or questions to for the disabled users. So yeah, so we have practice here at DCKAP, the accessibility testing practice. We have incorporated this accessibility testing practices in our testing life cycle. So it is not a standalone process. We do it for all of our customers as a part of testing life cycle, and it should be go along with as a agile workflow method, and also it is a hybrid method having both manual and automated process. In manual, what we do is we will use a screen reader check, and also the tab navigation, zoom, and we'll do the color contrast analyzer, and based on the BECA guidelines, right? So level A and level WA guidelines, we will do a complete testing in the website based on the guidelines. And also automation, we will run the wave tool and axe, lighthouse, and color contrast analyzer, everything. So we have a hybrid model of testing for the accessibility standpoint. So yeah, it should be incorporated along with your testing life cycle. So this is the QA process. So whenever we are doing the audit, okay, first we will talk with the end your customer, the merchant. Okay, so what is the core business functionality, and we'll come up with the sample URLs with respect to that core business functionality, and we'll completely create the functional test cases. And based on the functional test cases, we will completely audit the website according to the WCAG guidelines, and we'll come up with a report along with the remediation. And also our development team will work on the remediation part, and will again re-audit the website or with the same sample URLs based on the WCAG 2.1. So if we have the same issues in place, we'll again go for another cycle of fixing and re-audit the website based on the guidelines. And finally, we will come up with the accessibility conformance report based on WCAG 2.1 guidelines. And I would say this is not a one-time project. This is an ongoing monitoring project. So every quarter we have to do a continuous monitoring in the website for the guidelines check. And also if you are upgrading or re-platforming to any other e-commerce platform, at that time also you have to completely audit the website based on the WCAG guidelines. And yeah, you should follow the same process while auditing the website. So you may ask me, so what is the business cost involved in doing that ADA process, accessibility process in the development cycle, right? So here is the estimate given by our internal DCKAP team. So based on our experience in implementing the accessibility features in our client websites from scratch. Okay, for example, so we have estimated 1,000 hours per site implementation. We have to allocate 7% budget for accessibility in place, and this would take around 32% of the QA hours, which is usually without accessibility, we'll say 30% per industry standard, but we have taken 32% for QA because we have accessibility in place now. So this is the number we have as a for business cost. So if you are implementing the accessibility in your website, so there would be a 6 to 16% increase in development and testing with respect to both effort and cost. Yeah, this is an estimate you can anticipate when doing an accessible features in the website. And also this is when you are doing the accessibility feature from the scratch, right? When you are introducing the accessible designs in the design phase itself, this will be the business cost. But for some websites, merchants will do the accessibility features after the development cycle completes. Okay, only during the testing cycle, they will ask the QA team to make sure, okay, is there any accessible issues are there? So whether we want to resolve it or not. So if that would be will take a different amount of time and effort for that. So this is the business cost behind that. So yeah, thank you. Any questions?
Thank you so much. So Karen is asking, what size of a site is an average site that requires 1,000 hours for implementation?
Okay, so it depends upon the features. Okay, so what are all the features? For example, I would say we are building an Magento website. Okay, it depends upon the features, what we are going to build. If you are doing for more customizations, and we are doing more any ERP integration or any PIM management integration, that would be different, right? So that it differs based on our features.
Great. Okay, looks like that was all the questions from them, but I also do have a question just to ask a little bit more. What are some things also to keep in mind for accessibility beyond websites in terms of design and best practices for phones and tablets too, since, obviously that's important as well?
Yes, we have to make sure when implementing the accessibility feature, we have to keep in mind so that tablets and even the mobile features are going to be used by the people in the, maybe I would say, okay, so sometimes I will use my mobile phone in the bright sunlight. Okay, that time it will be very a dimmer for me to see the text properly and even the images. So what I'm seeing, even I will type the wrong content in my text messages because of the sunlight. Okay, we have to make sure those items also in the design patterns. Based on that, we have to select the color palettes, everything. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And that's great, just for people to keep in mind when they're thinking of accessibility, even beyond just the standard practices. So that's great. Thank you so much again, Sivaranjani, for your presentation and insight. Appreciate that.
Thank you so much. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. All right, that's it for this month's eSession. Thanks so much for joining. And to our sponsor, Scotian.digital. And you can watch more at dckap.com/events. And our next event will be on May 11th, the DCKAP Summit. So be sure to watch out for that. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can watch all our videos. Have a great day, everyone.